Hi everyone, it's Mari from Doodles na Mari on Instagram. Today I sort of wanted to write down my currently inked, so I figured I would record it and share it with you as well because I don't know, some of you might be interested in this. So I have here seven ink cards here, ink swatches, but you will see that I actually have many more pens that are actually inked. And this is because for some of them, I have some inks here that are either samples or bottles that I bought that I didn't actually sit down and did my catalog here on my coloring paper. So that's something that is pending, but I actually have 10 pens that are inked currently. So some of these are pens that have been inked since, I don't know, maybe August or September, that they just carried through. And some of them are actually almost done, almost empty. So I will probably clean them soon. But I just wanted to write down are currently inked in my ink journal. I have been really trying to finish up my ink journal kind of faster because I still have quite a few pages left. And I do have a new ink journal coming up in the mail probably today. And I know that I'm going to want to move to that one sooner rather than later. So I just want to use my ink journal. So that's why I figured I would record uh, currently ink currently inked video. So with that, I'm gonna put this aside and I will start writing on my ink journal. Okay, so as you can see here in my ink journal, the last time I did a currently inked spread was in September, middle of September. Again, some of these I actually still have inked. Um, And you can see here that I was already trying to do a more like fall-like color palette. And that's what I tried to do with my October inks as well. But I still have some brighter inks in there just because I wanted to try them. So with that, I think this is the new page. So I'm just gonna write currently inked. And I'm sort of just gonna copy what I did for September because I think it worked okay. Okay, so the first one that I'm gonna swatch is gonna be this one. So this one is my, oops, sorry. This one is my Twisby Eco in white. This has a medium nib. This is my first Twisby Eco and I've been really enjoying it so far. I have also really been enjoying the medium nibs lately. I started loving the extra fine ones, but now I really love the medium nibs. So yeah, and this one is inked with Henry David Thoreau. So let me write this down. Okay, so um, I probably should have abbreviated the brand name instead of the ink color, but it's okay. You can see, I hope you can see that this is a very shiny ink. And I actually have just a sample that I bought from Goulet Pens. Um, and as you can see, this is almost empty, pretty much empty. I will refill this though because I'm using this ink and pen as my in my everyday carry planner. So I write with this every single day, and it's a very fun ink. Although, as you can see, I already have ink on my fingers, so it is a little bit messy, but it's a beautiful ink, and I have been really enjoying this. I think it goes really well with fall. It's kind of a like a dark teal with a red sheen. So I really enjoyed this one. This has been one of my favorites, and again, I love this nib. And it writes really wet with this pen and ink combination. So the next one would be my Sailor Lecoul. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is the Mizutama Sailor, and this has a medium fine nib. This one is inked with Ferris wheel press. This one is, let me see, I forgot the name. I think it's Tipped Umber, which is not here, but this one, oh no. This one is the Diamine Oxblood. So this one is Diamine Oxblood. And this one is Sailor Nicole Medium Fine. Okay. So this one, I don't love this ink particularly in this nib, just because it doesn't show too much shading. It's pretty much like a flat, dark red, as you can see here. But I did love this ink in another pen that I used, which had a broader nib. So I think it's just a matter of, this nib might be too fine for me to properly see these properties of this ink that I actually like. But I don't dislike this ink in this pen. It writes very wet and smooth, so I don't dislike it. It's just the color is not necessarily my favorite, particularly the way it lays down with a finer nib like this. Yeah, I've been using this as my long handwriting um, journal pen. So the next one would be my Pilot Kakuno. So this is a clear Pilot Kakuno with a fine nib. Um, and I inked this with J. Herbin Orange Indian. So this, I got it as a sample. Uh, so let's write it down. J. Herbin Orange Indian. And this is a Kakuno Fine. So I really like this ink in this pen just because I had issues with the Kakuno previously because, the Japanese nibs tend to be a little bit finer. So there are a lot of inks that turns out to be really scratchy with my fine and extra fine Japanese nibs. But the orange in the end, it's actually quite wet, so it's a pleasant experience. The ink itself, it's a nice orange. I'm not particularly fond of orange, but I don't completely dislike this orange either. So I think it goes well with the color scheme for October, um, but it's not necessarily my favorite just because I don't really love orange. But other than that, I have been really enjoying this pen and ink combination. So the next one would be my J. Herbin fountain pen, which I believe this nib is a medium or maybe a medium fine. It doesn't say. And I had this inked with Pilot Iroshizuku Inaho. So you can see that this is pretty much over. So I just need to clean this pen. Um, and yeah, let me swatch this here. Okay, so you can see that this is actually one of the inks that I still haven't swatched in my coloring card. So I bought a small bottle of Inaho and I thought I would love it, but I don't know. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. I think it's usually a little bit lighter than this, than what you can see here. Um, so what I think it's happening is that this pen, the cap doesn't seal very well. So I think there is some evaporation of the ink, which is making it look a little bit darker because I think I have some writing samples of when I bought this ink. So here you go. So this is just when I bought this ink, just a few days after I bought this ink, and you can see it's much lighter than the swatch here. So I think what's happening is that there is some evaporation with this pen. Um, so I don't particularly like that, but the ink itself, I'm on the fence about it. Some days I like it, some days I don't. Uh, yeah, I don't have much more to say. I didn't really enjoy this pen. I just wanted to try a different brand, but I didn't really enjoy this pen. So we'll see. Maybe it will perform better with another ink. This is the first ink that I have had it inked with. So the next one would be my Moonman 1 Kai Mini. And this is a very small fountain pen, as you can see, a pocket pen. This, I have a very small hand, and this is, this fits my hand like almost my entire palm of my hand. And then to write it, you have to cap it, you have to post it like this, and it threads to post. So with that, it's more comfortable to write. However, because you have to thread it to post, I found that it's kind of hard to use this for as my daily writer, in the sense that I would probably not gonna use this pen in my everyday carry, because sometimes I just want to get a pen, check something off, and put it down, right? So I don't want to open this, thread it, and then just so I can check one thing out off. So I will probably just use this for longer writing sessions, so like in my longhand journal or for writing a letter or something like that. But this one is inked with, and I'm going to try to put this here, but this one is inked with Ferris Wheel Press Spruce County Post. So Ferris Wheel Press Spruce County Post. And this is my Moonman 1 Kai Mini with a fine nib. So with this one, I really like the way it writes, particularly with this ink. Well, this is the only ink that I have inked this with. This is an eyedropper pen, so there's a lot of there's a big ink capacity here. And again, since I have just been using this mostly to write letters and things like that, I still have a lot because I haven't, unfortunately, been writing that many letters. Um, so I still have quite a lot of ink in here, but I really like this pen and ink combination. It writes very smoothly. I can still see some of the shading in the Spruce County Post ink. Um, so yeah, I've been really enjoying it. As you can see, all of these together, they make a really nice color scheme for fall, I think. So I've been really happy with this, and I believe these are mostly the ones, that will be fall themed. So the other ones are gonna be a little bit more, they're not gonna go very well together with the rest of the inks like these ones. So the first one would be my Moonman, I think it's called Youth. And this has a foodie nib. This is a very cheap foodie pen, but I have been really enjoying this. And this one is inked with Pannonia Lichen. Um, I wanted to use Pannonia Lichen on this one because this is a food nib, I wanted to use a lighter ink that I would have more issues if I were using a finer nib. So I have been really enjoying the food nib. It's so fun. I can write it very um, thick or very thin lines with this one. So it's just been very, very fun to use. I highly recommend. So this is inked with Pannonia Lichen. And this is my Moonman Youth in a foodie nib. So this is really fun. I have been enjoying this pen and ink so much. The ink itself, even with the foodie nib, you can see it's a very light ink, and the foodie allows a lot of shading in the ink. So the parts that are actually lighter, like the top of the E here, it can be sometimes too light for me to properly read this. But I have been liking this just to write some, like a header or something like that whenever I'm having a longer writing session, and just to have fun with this nib. This is a really fun nib. I highly recommend. So this is it for my foodie nib, and then the next one would be my Twisby swipe in smoke, and this one has the 1.1 stub nib. What I really like about the Twisby swipes are that they are so easy to clean. I can take it completely apart, and I can clean everything. But what I like as well is the spring converter, because to me, I think, that makes it cleaning so much easier. I can just, use the spring to just to flush it out. And I have been really enjoying it. And it's really easy to use as well. So I really enjoy the swipes. I wish that they would come out with more colors. So for this one, I've been trying to use my shimmering inks in my swipes, just because, again, it's so easy to clean. So I've been trying to use the shimmering inks primarily in my Twisby swipe. So this is inked with Ferris Wheel Press Blueberry Tonic. So Ferris Wheel Press Blueberry Tonic, and this is my Twisby swipe with 1.1 stub. So with this one, I really like this color. And I do like the sheening. Um, However, of course, with all sheening inks, you can see, sorry, with all the shimmering inks, you can see that the shimmer will come out strongly when you first start using it, and then it will kind of fade a little bit as uh, it starts flowing better, right? Because the shimmer, you can even see the shimmer accumulating here. So I try to just shake it or roll this a little bit before using it, but still you have some shimmering concentration when you first start writing. But still, I really like this pen and ink combination. It writes very wet. I can see a lot of shading. I can see the shimmer, although it tends to be, for the Ferris wheel press, I think it tends to be more subtle shimmer, except in the first when you first start writing, right? But I have been liking this a lot. This has actually been inked for quite some time, and I'm in the very end of this charge, uh, as you can see. So I will probably just flush this out and clean this pen soon. And then the next one would be another one that I had already used previously, which is my Pilot Petite 1, and this has a Pilot Blue Black cartridge. So I think this one actually goes really well with my fall color scheme. Um, so this is Pilot Blue Black, and this is my Pilot Petite one, and it has a fine nib. So the reason that I am inking this with the blue black is because this originally had the light blue ink cartridge on this, and I didn't really love the light blue. So because this pen actually needs this particular cartridge or this particular cartridge, you can see that this is very different in shape from the regular cartridge, and this is just because this is a pocket pen, right? So it has to fit in the barrel here. So I actually ended up buying a pack of 3 of these chargers with blue black inks. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to use them up, and then I will have the empty cartridges so I can refill them with any ink that I want. However, this pen in particular is, I find it really hard to clean the feed properly. So I think this pen will be permanently inked with some sort of blue ink. I can change the blue or the hue or the actual manufacturer of the ink and things like that, but I think this will always have a blue ink just because I cannot properly clean the feed on this pen, and I don't want to try to remove the feed because I think that I will, the likelihoods that I will make a mistake and mess this up is high. So I think I will just, count my losses and just permanently have this inked with a blue ink. The next one would be a pen that I got from a friend in a Happy Mail. So this is, you can see it has a smiley face on the nib. Hopefully you can see that. But this is sort of a generic Kakuno pen. It has no brand, and it came with this cartridge here with a blue ink. Which I don't know, which ink it is. So I'm just gonna write, blue ink, generic Kakuno pen. And this, I believe, would be maybe a fine as well. I don't know. So this one, it writes very smoothly, it writes well. I have no complaints about it. The only thing is, um, I don't particularly love this shade of blue. This type of blue, like a regular blue ink, right? I don't particularly like that. So I haven't been reaching for this pen a lot because of that. So what I'm gonna do is I will give it another month or so for this pen. And if I ended up not using it, I will likely just clean it out, throw the rest of the ink away, and maybe ink it with something else, and potentially also a blue ink because this has a very similar feed to the Pilot Petite um, pen. So I think I might have issues cleaning this out as well. So this might be another pen that will be permanently inked with a blue ink. So we'll see. And then lastly, we have another TWSBI swipe. This is the Prussian blue TWSBI swipe, and this one has a broad nib. Um, and this one, let me shake this a little bit as well, because I also have a shimmer ink. So this one is inked with Ferris wheel press glimmering grage. So let me swatch this here. This is Ferris wheel press glimmering grage. And this is in my TWSBI swipe with a broad nib. So again, I have been really enjoying using the shimmer inks in my swipes. Um, again, because it's easy to clean, but I also really, really like the Twisby swipes. I think, to be honest, I think this is an not very aesthetically pleasing pen, but I think the functionality is so great that I really do see myself actually getting a few more of this just because it's so practical. And yeah, and regarding the ink itself, it's a gray. I love grays. So of course I would like this ink, and it has like a gold shimmer. So it's a really, really fun ink. I have been using this to write letters, so I know I should be using this one a little bit more, the um, my one Kai mini pen, just because it houses so much ink that I really need to use it. But I have been favoring this one actually, just because, first of all, it's such a good writing experience, but also this ink is really pretty and it's right up my alley with the shimmer and the gray. I just really like it. So yeah, this one, however, it's pretty much done. You can see there's pretty much nothing left here. So I will be cleaning this and inking with something else. And that's pretty much it. So these are all of my inked pens for October. Um, I will refill some of those, so I will refill this one for sure, and then I will clean at least one, two, maybe three pens, and then we'll see what I will ink next. So yeah, I hope that was somewhat fun for you guys. I just really wanted to do another currently inked spread. I know it's the middle of October, so technically I would like to have done this in the beginning of the month because I do like to change inks every month, particularly for my journals. And yeah, it's a little bit delayed, but I mean, it's done. Hopefully, I will find more things to write on my ink journal so I can start my new one soon. And if you want more videos like this regarding my ink journal, just let me know and I will be happy to make those. So if you watched uh, this far, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. And with that, that's it. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.